Fashion genres are a recipe for failure. If you want to buy some gorpcore, go out in a workwear outfit, or be more like a Y2K influencer,
I'm actually insane.
You'll probably end up dressing badly, but not for the reason you think. Picking a lane is a good thing, having a consistent style is an enviable quality, but searching for fashion by genre has been poisoned. We'll find out why, and there's no better example of that than Techware clothing. Let's begin. Imagine seeing a style of clothing you like, but searching for it returns almost exclusively hot garbage. That was the fate of Techware, a genre predicated on the combination of performance and futuristic or utilitarian aesthetics. At one point, this was a useful way of organizing a group of styles spearheaded by brands like Acronym and Gorilla Group, and product lines like Nike's ACG. And we'll talk about some new Acronym stuff later in the video. Now, Techware as a term was co-opted by dropshippers reselling AliExpress clothing and presented as the way to get the Techware look. Generally with poorly conceived ideas about functionality and frankly dated aesthetics based on products that came out nearly a decade ago now. At the same time, platforms like Instagram became overrun with content creators using this clothing, often through gifting or ambassador programs and using #Techwear. Honestly, it's easy to see why this happened. Combining high levels of technical performance with a specific aesthetic, i.e. attention to design from a fashion perspective and a functional perspective, is expensive, particularly when these are niche brands made in relatively low quantities. And there's this extra dimension of material, features, functionality that's almost a requirement to understand to get the full value from this clothing. It's pretty understandable people don't want to go and study the archives just to buy a cute new jacket, nor spend frankly exclusionary amounts of money, so it was only a matter of time before people swooped in to fill the gap for this vulnerable market segment of would-be Techwear fans. I've made videos about what these sorts of retailers do and the quality of product you're likely to receive. These are absolutely awful, and I'm not exaggerating. That is very much still the case. If you're looking for Techwear clothing online, you're far more likely to run into one of these retailers than anyone selling decent stuff. If you want me to cover more shops like that though, let me know. If you want to dress Techwear, you basically cannot search for Techwear clothing. You have to find subreddits, Discord servers, social media accounts of people who understand this stuff. And it's hard, and it takes time, as evidenced by the multitude of people asking, where can I get Techwear clothing? Or, I bought what I thought was Techwear clothing and it turned out to be rubbish. Techwear is just an example. It's kind of happening with everything. Searching for gorpcore doesn't find you seasoned outdoorsmen sharing their opinions on high-end technical gear. It's pretty similar SEO-driven low quality stuff, alongside recycled how-to guides and lists of the same brands to buy to be a gorpcore guy. Searching for quiet luxury literally finds Etsy listings of jumpers with quiet luxury written on them. Fashion genre guides on social media are made by people who don't actually dress in that style, making them come across like these anthropologists kind of peering into different subcultures. Using fashion genres to find your style is kind of doomed to fail, so just wear anything, right? Well, also no, you probably still want to wear things with some relationship to each other, develop clothing with a sense of cohesion. Many people with enviable style will do this. So this is what you need to know. Core piece of advice. Fashion genres are descriptive, not prescriptive. Fashion genres can help describe or articulate what someone is wearing. This person's style really fits the gorpcore aesthetic, or I can see some Ivy influence in these outfits. What you shouldn't do is think, I need to go and buy some Techwear, some gorpcore, some workwear, whatever. Not only will that lock you out of some potentially interesting stuff, but many of these terms, as we've seen with Techwear, will actively lead you astray. Let's make this make more sense, and rather than just show you pictures of retailers online, we're going to head into London and actually check some of this stuff out for ourselves. Techwear accessory on, let's go. Despite the clothing I often wear, I actually live in the countryside just outside London, so we've got a journey in, but something I like about Techwear or technical fashion is how appropriate it can be for multiple environments and conditions. I'll happily wear an Acronym jacket pretty much anywhere. You've maybe also noticed I'm doing the first leg of this journey by bike. That is because of this video's extremely cool paid sponsor, Lemo. The Lemo One is the quiet outdoors of the e-bike world. It's sleek, it's futuristic, it's secretly packed with tech. Exactly the kind of thing that I like. Hidden in here are features like GPS location, phone holder, and most importantly, the removable smart pack. When engaged, this gives you a 100-kilometer range to make cycling journeys super easy. I've got a fair bit of experience with mountain biking and road biking, but this is my first time using an e-bike, and it really makes a difference, especially when accelerating and on those uphill sections. But removing this turns it into a regular bike if you want to, saving weight, reducing friction. Even with the pack though, this weighs 18 kilograms, which is pretty good for an e-bike. Something else I think is quite cool though is they don't just provide documentation for repairing sharing the various tech features but making upgrades. So you always have access to their latest innovations. This modular design helps make it a better long-term purchase, not something you'll need to keep rebuying. I am super hyped to be covering something which intersects with so many of my interests and is just a really cool piece of tech, so definitely take a look at the link in the description. Get yourself a bike that matches the fashion aesthetic. And as someone whose employer is forcing them back into hybrid work, I will be commuting and making use of the Lemo 1 a whole lot more. I locked up my bike, grabbed the train and hopped off in Central to check out some shops. Now, there aren't really any Techware stores full of cyberpunk anime gear and pockets, but that's actually a good thing. What I'm looking for isn't the most Techware stuff, but clothing I like, which fits my wardrobe, aesthetic, and maybe a particular use case. Sometimes those are mega performance focused, sometimes they go all in on futuristic aesthetics, sometimes it's a bit of both. Or to be honest, sometimes it's neither, like this Acne Studios hoodie I bought a while back, which doesn't have any technical properties, but looks great with a lot of my other stuff. There is no better example of this than right here. If you're looking for Techware clothing or cyberpunk stuff or whatever, you would never visit a shop that looks like Nepenthes. On first look, it's full of shirts and stuff, but down in the basement is some genuinely cool stuff for our purposes, which may be inspired by Japanese streetwear, US military and fly fishing equipment, but would absolutely work as part of a technical wardrobe. Just look at this jacket, I love this thing. I tried on the green one, which I thought was super cool, with the cropped fit being very fashion forward whilst incorporating functional elements in a fun way. And this heavy netting jacket was awesome, easily something I could incorporate, and I may well end up returning to pick this up. Lots of retailers, whether they be general purpose streetwear stores like End or brand specific ones like Oakley, had clothing in which made me think, yeah, I would wear that. It really is the same for any genre of clothing. The pre-approved list of quiet luxury, gorpcore brands, etc. is only going to shut you off from discovering and enjoying things that you feel passionately about. And long term, that's the stuff you are going to enjoy wearing most, regardless of its place in a particular fashion genre. I also went to Outsider Store, which is super cool. Okay, now this is the closest thing you would find to a gorpcore genre store, in that they exclusively carry outdoor fashion brands, and it's well worth a visit for the environment and some of the fun items on display. I found this Kavu bag with a great ergonomic shape and nice rope detail to the strap. No one would talk about this in a Techware context, but it would probably look better as part of a Techware outfit than anything you'd find looking for Techware bags. Certainly not at this price. It retailed for £55, a little bit cheaper than an Acronym bag. Of course, there are a few shops in London which stock Acronym as well, so maybe I picked something up. So if I purely approach things with where can I buy Techware in London in mind, I probably wouldn't have visited many of those stores, and yet they were where some of the most interesting stuff was. Look at Nepenthes, for example. And that, I think, is the key to evolving your style, looking at things which fit the criteria you want rather than fitting the genre name that you want. Now let's go home, we'll take a look at that cool bag I picked up and talk about some other stuff too. Yeah, honestly, super happy with this little thing. Okay, it's not going to hold a huge amount of stuff, but it's got a decent bit of storage for its size. I like this little pocket array, and the teardrop shape is pretty ergonomic and feels good close to the body. And I know I mentioned it already, but this tripled up cord strap I think makes this look pretty interesting. Very clearly utilitarian, and I think it's a little bit nicer than just having this relatively cheap nylon strap that you would normally see across the entire bag with something of this kind of price. It reminds me of the similarly shaped Patagonia Atom Sling, another item which when I bought it definitely wouldn't have been considered a Techware clothing item at all. I know my experience here is around the Techware or technical fashion genre. I'm hoping you can see how this can apply to pretty much any style of fashion. If you find a fashion genre appealing, think about the qualities of that genre which appeal to you, and look for clothing with those qualities. And just to make that thought clear, not every item or even every outfit needs to fit all those qualities you've picked out. In fact, it might be more interesting to pick a couple and see where that takes you. In my opinion, that will give you really good results. And look, if you need any further evidence of why not to get wrapped up in genre names, I do have a couple of Acronym items here from this season. There's the J1WB-E and the P55-M. Acronym for many people is the Techware brand. Nothing respects the ethos of ultimate technical performance and ultimate futuristic aesthetics like they do. But both of these two items ship with removable spikes. They have no function. They are just here to look cool. If you're a real Techware genre obsessive, you're going to be having conniptions over this.
Gives me conniptions.
Surely a misstep from a brand that built a worldview on which performance and functionality is so integral, something laser focused on only including what is necessary and removing anything extraneous. Funny spiky bits is not a very Techware thing to do. Yeah, not everyone is going to like this. Good thing that they're removable, but what it does do is show at a subculture level how people might be interested in the application of aesthetic-driven elements to something rooted in performance. And I think it's fine to want that from your clothes. Even if you're a real techwear enthusiast, you don't have to be hung up on the perception that the better your outfit ticks genre boxes, the more successful it is. And it should be noted that in all cases, these spikes are extras, accessories to change the aesthetics of an already functional garment. They don't replace anything useful, they don't get in the way of performance elements, they don't even ship pre-attached to the clothes, as if to say, we have created fully realized and formed clothing, this is just an extra bit you can put on if you want to. And many people interested in this jacket do not plan on using these spikes. Get in there. Acronym spikes though, good or bad, you decide. With that in mind, I hope you can take a new view on clothing you like. Sure, think about an aesthetic or a direction you might be interested in, but use that as a springboard to discover things for yourself, rather than a pre-approved brand or item list. I promise you, you deserve better than page 1 of Google. Have you fallen victim to fashion genres in the past, or have you already ascended past the need for them and you're in this stage of just enjoying the things that you like and using that to assemble a cohesive aesthetic all of your own, or maybe inspired by these genres, but not strictly defined by them. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like, it makes a massive difference, and big thanks to Lemmo1 for being paid sponsors of the video. Go and check them out, there'll be a link in the description, and looking forward to riding that more in the future. But until next time, I'll catch you later.